Welcome to day one of an unbusy year. It's time to take your power back. I'm so glad that you're here. I'm so happy that you registered and you're giving yourself time to close the year in an amazing way and start 2025 in an even better way. During this masterclass, we are going to cover 3 pretty big topics in relatively short videos. I'm going to walk you through how you can take your power back in the next year. I'm going to talk about the be-do balance so that you can understand the energetics around that a bit more. And then day 3, we are going to do reflection and projection and subconscious reprogramming for the new year so that you can achieve everything that you dream of in the next year. And let's get started. So first, I wanted to start this with a little bit of reflection. It's good for you to look back at the year and go through what happened, what was good, what do you want to remember. Potentially, sometimes it's worth looking at what didn't work. If it's something that is consistent in your life and it's making you unhappy or struggle, then yes, definitely let's look at how we can make it better. But never from a perspective of draining your energy of like, oh my gosh, this is so bad. Always from the perspective of questioning. Is this working for me? Is this good for me? If you have a particularly long commute that you thought you could do, but now you feel like it's taking the life out of you, then really question it. Is it worth it? Could you dream up a better scenario where you don't need to do the commute? What do you need to, air quotes, sacrifice if you want to make this change in your life? What do you need to do? Do you need a new job? Do you need a new deal with your existing job? Do you need a new home? Do you need a different way of doing life altogether because it's just not working for you? And when you go through every aspect of your life that's really bothering you, I'm sure that for majority of it, you can come from different perspectives. You can question it in new ways based on how it feels to you. If something should be right for the outside world, but it doesn't feel right for you, that's still something that is making you unhappy, and it's still something that you need to think about, contemplate, and consider how to change it to make you feel better. When you're going through your life and you're doing any kind of reflection, it doesn't really matter how it looks to the outside world. It doesn't matter how much money you make or how cool your job is or how amazing your family looks on pictures. It matters how you feel inside your life, inside your body on a day-to-day basis whilst you are living your life, because life is here to be lived. And you should strive for good feelings, happiness, joy, fulfillment, success, whatever those words mean to you. It's not here to make it look good on paper for other people. We are not here to please others, although some of us, me included, have been conditioned that way. But we are doing this work to untangle that, to get straight on priorities, on values, on why we are here. That's why when you're doing reflection, questioning is so important. And this is also how you make confident decisions. I'll give you an example. When you question something in your life, like, for example, is my morning routine working for me? Something very simple, right? I wake up, I'm always late, I sleep a bit too much in the morning, like 20-30 minutes just pushing the snooze button. Then I'm late, I'm scattered, I'm rushing the kids out of the door, I'm yelling, I'm not quite myself because I have not had time to balance myself out and do the things that I want to do. If that's your morning routine and you're questioning it, you're really going through how it makes you feel. Does it make me feel good? Okay, what can I do? Shift perspective. What can I do to make this better? Can I wake up earlier? Can I go to bed earlier so that I can wake up earlier? Can I do it differently with the kids? Can I maybe just walk downstairs and have a few moments just for myself, have my coffee? Can I ask my partner to bring the coffee to bed to me so that I can just chill for another 5 minutes and wake up and then start the day? Do I need to get up and first thing do some journaling activities or listen to a meditation whilst I'm brushing my teeth or I'm getting ready, or just listen to my meditation whilst I'm still laying in bed? What can you do to make you feel better? Such a small change. But imagine if every single morning of your life in the next year was so much better because of a tiny change, that you woke up 20 minutes earlier or you did something for yourself first thing in the morning. How much more could you give to others as well? Just because you're more fulfilled, you're feeling better inside your own body. How much more will you be able to give to the world if you start the morning on your own terms so that it makes you feel good? Again, nothing matters but how you feel. And with your feelings, the only thing that matters really is that you look for relief. You look for the next step. You look for just make it a little bit better for yourself. A little bit better every time you're making a change. And those tiny changes, seemingly tiny changes, will compound over time. And you look back in a year, you look back next year and you're thinking, wow, I have come so far. And a tiny little habit that you can also try out. One of my favorite things that I've done this year for myself, every month in my phone, in the Notes app, I wrote a list on the 1st of January, on the 1st of February, every single month, I wrote a list of all the things that I want to remember about the month. Because every time I did a year review, I was trying to remember, like, what happened? What happened this year? What happened? And the stuff that you remember genuinely is like birthdays and occasions and celebrations and holidays and things like that. And that's all well and good. But I wanted to remember the small things, the small wins. What was my favorite book this year? What books did I read this year? What was my favorite, most used crystal? What month was the best feeling month, where I've been the most grateful throughout the month? And because of this, I started writing these lists in my notes section, and it has everything from the smallest thing. Like, I got this crystal water bottle from my mom, and I was absolutely obsessed with it. I still am. And partly because every month I wrote in this mini journal of mine that I'm obsessed with my crystal water bottle. I love pouring water into it, waiting for the crystal to charge it, and then drink it. And imagine that I'm just drinking everything that holy amethyst has to offer. Everything that from an amethyst crystal can pour into that gorgeous water that is going to hydrate my body is just pouring inside me. I have a special connection with holy amethyst, and because of that, her crystal really makes me feel just absolutely like gorgeous inside and out. And because of that, these moments were really precious to me. I was really grateful for having them. Or I had a Shakti mattress for acupuncture, for back pain. I was using it a lot. I was so grateful for it. It really helped with my migraines as well. And every month I would say I'm really, really grateful for this Shakti mat, and I have been obsessed with it. I've been using it every single day when I could. Mornings, evenings, whenever I could carve out 20 minutes of my day, I would just lay down on it and just enjoy the relaxation that it had to offer. It was a gorgeous, gorgeous experience for me. So writing a list like this for yourself with emojis or different fonts, however it feels good to you is really useful because it helps you to look back at the year and really enjoy the moments again. When you read through it, it helps you to remember, because these are tiny, tiny things that you forget if you don't write them down the moment they happened. Or you had a really great morning, like just a perfect morning. You can write down, I had the best morning ever, the quietest morning ever. I'm always grateful for a quiet morning. I have 3 children. It doesn't happen very often, but it's in my tiny little journal. I remember which month I had quiet mornings and I can list them now. This helps you to reflect in a really meaningful way, remembering the things that made you really happy, grounded, grateful. It is fueling the good feelings inside of you, and that is important to do. It really matters when you look back and consider the small wins, because if you only remember the big stuff, it's going to be a very short list of things for most of us. But when you write down the little things, my list for the year to review is very long. It's very, very long. It goes on and on for pages and pages and pages because it's filled with tiny little things. And I believe that these compound, and the better you make yourself feel, the better things are coming your way. And that is true. The better you feel, your perspective shifts on how you see the world, and suddenly you start to vibrate on a different frequency and you're attracting different things. It works the other way around as well, by the way. The more miserable you feel, the worst stuff keeps happening to you. Unfortunately, it works that way as well. But when you, air quote, force yourself to look on the bright side of things, and you have your little list and your little reflections, and you question things when they make you feel bad, and make a meaningful change to not just to change stuff for the sake of changing stuff, or not just creating a habit of like, I'm going to work out 5 days a week because someone on the internet said that was a good idea. If it doesn't make you feel good, first, you're not going to stick with it. Second, there's no point in doing anything that doesn't make you feel good. When you start working out, something that you really love and it makes you feel good, that's a meaningful habit that you need to be working on and keeping at it, even when it feels hard. But something that doesn't resonate with you, something that just you think it's a nice idea because somebody said so, then you're creating change for the wrong reasons, and it's not going to stick. It's always worth to do these things with intention, with consciousness, with feeling into it. How do I feel about it? Does it make me feel good? Does it light me up? Is it giving me joy? Most of my simple joy comes from my garden, from doing gardening on the allotment, from growing plants. It's such a simple way for me to recharge, to get away from reality, to just go and be in nature and experience how grounding the whole experience is. But when a tomato grows on that plant, I'm so joyful. I'm so grateful. It makes me so happy. It's the simplest thing that I can do for myself to feel a great amount of joy. But just because I tell you, like, go do gardening, it will make you so happy, I don't know if it will. I can't tell you that. It makes me very happy. I experimented a lot with what kind of activity is it that would make me so happy without any circumstance needing to be just right. What can I do for myself on a daily basis that will just make me happy? For some people, it will be knitting. For some people, it will be reading books. For me, it's gardening. I go out in the garden and immediately I feel grounded. I feel peace. I feel calm. It's my happy place. I go there. All of the troubles of the world disappear. And I'm just, wow, this is so nice. But just because I tell you that, it's not going to be your happy place. You can borrow it. You can try it on and see how it feels. but you just need to figure out what is your happy place for yourself. And that's how you make meaningful change. You question things, you think about, you contemplate, you feel into it, you try out. Some of you, depending on what your human design is, some of you will have no idea what works for you until you try. If you're a manifesting generator in human design, you need to try it out, because without experiencing it, you have no idea how it's going to make you feel. We are all different. Some of us really need to go and try. Some of us can have an idea, feel into it, and we know it's a good idea. But that doesn't work for everyone. Again, who are you? Who are you becoming? How can you experiment enough so that you can make meaningful change in your life in the new year? Don't just make a resolution for the sake of making a resolution, because you know that you won't stick with it. And it will make you feel disappointed. But you knew it from the get-go. You made the resolution and you know already in your body that you're not going to stick with it. You're already disappointed because you know that you're not going to be following through, and you are going to be disappointed. I know. I've been there. I've done that. And now I just do this differently. I don't do resolutions. I set intentions. I want life to feel easy as it can be. I want to plan ahead so I know what I want. I know what I'm creating. I know what I'm doing, sort of, at least, have guidance. I go through my beliefs and I check on them. Do I want to keep this one or do I want to change it? If I believe, for example, that money is really hard to make and I need to work very, very hard, is that a belief worth keeping, or shall we just swap it and shall we start believing that money comes easily to me when I am in the right mindset and I'm feeling good and I am grateful for what I already have? To me, that sounds better. I don't want to work hard anymore. I worked hard for years because no one ever told me that it's not necessary. I don't want to do that anymore. I want to enjoy my work. I want my work not to feel like work. I remember a sentence from my favorite designers when I was in design school, Karim Rashid. He said, "Make your hobby your job and you never have to work another day in your life." I don't remember anything else that he said in his presentation, but this stuck with me for years. And for years I've been trying to figure out, what is that thing for me? For him it was design. I tried design. It was not the thing for me. I tried it on. I was like, no, this does not feel, this feels like work. This feels like the hardest of work. So no. But what is the thing for me that I love so much that if I do it as work, as a living, then it won't feel like work? What is that for me? When you hear inspirational sentences like that, they can really sit with you for years sometimes until you figure it out on your own. At the time, I had no idea what subconscious reprogramming was, and I had no idea how to change my perspective and question things and create meaningful change. All the things that I'm explaining to you right now, I had no idea about these things. I wish someone told me how to do this, because I would have found the thing so much quicker if I knew how to do this. The next piece of the puzzle is, in my opinion, when you reflect, you question everything. You have your list of how am I going to create meaningful change, right? You look into your beliefs. What do I need to change in order to achieve relief, to feel better? The only way you can feel better is to look for relief in your life. Esther Hicks said this. It's very, very true. Especially if you're feeling a bit low, the only emotion that you're looking for is relief. How can I feel relief in this moment? Breathing often helps, and then you can gain some clarity to see those answers. The next piece of the puzzle for me is financial planning. Obviously, all of us, we need money to live. We need to organize that money. Some of us don't have enough of it, and that creates a problem. Sometimes we have just enough of it, which creates a problem. The need to have more and the feeling of the lack of it, and this constant inner battle of like, I want more, but I don't have more. I really need more, and there is not enough. This constant battle can create a constant feeling of lack, and that is not serving you in any way, shape, or form. So let's look at how we can plan to afford. How can we plan to get out of debt? How can we do a financial plan that will serve you long term? This method helped me to get out of more than £15,000 of debt. Also, by looking at this and questioning things and making decisions based on the knowledge that a spreadsheet can show you, it helped me save more than £13,000 with one single decision. And you may have seen the story about me giving back my car in one of the emails I sent out, one of the posts I made. Just the knowledge that you gain from looking at your numbers is immense. And I know so many of you are afraid. I know, I've been there. You think you don't have enough. You think you're spending too much. You think you're in too much debt. You think that the credit card bills are high, too high, and you're afraid to look at your numbers. But hear me out. Hear me out. When I was really afraid of the numbers, I was on maternity leave, and the numbers were piling up. The debt was piling up, and I was so afraid of the numbers. I ignored it for a while, and then I felt like I can no longer ignore it. It did not feel responsible. I was like, I'm a grown up. I have children. I'm responsible. I'm organized. I'm not like this. And this is the time when buying beauty boxes was the thing that I thought was making me happy. I have not found gardening yet. I was trying to find happiness in meaningless shopping of makeup products that I would never use. It was as sad as it sounds. I know. But at the time, the version of me could only find a little bit of relief in shiny new things coming through the post. I literally felt like this was the only thing that would make me easily happy, at least for a few minutes, or a few hours when this thing came through the post. Otherwise, I felt like I was pretty miserable. I was working very hard. I was exhausted. And I had a completely different perspective on life at the time. I was only starting out on personal development, and I didn't understand at the time that happiness came from within, not from the outer world. It was a hard time, and the debt was piling up. And then I was working with a mentor at the time, and slowly, I started to learn about how to deal with money, how to feel around money, how to not be afraid of lack of money, and how to improve my relationship with money, how to talk about it, how to have conversations with my husband, how to talk to myself about money without feeling ashamed about spending too much, because at the time I was spending more than what I was making, and that felt, I felt shame, guilt, embarrassment, very complex kind of negative emotions in my body about the whole thing. And one day I was in tears on the sofa. I was crying. I was talking to my husband. I told him, look, the debit card is just through the roof. I have no idea how we will ever pay this back the way we're going. It's just, we're like making the minimum payments. The interest is through the roof. Oh my gosh. what have I done? Or we, you know. And then, my tears were flowing, and at some point I just decided that, look, we need to look into the numbers, like how much we make, how much we spend, and we need to make a change. And at the time I had an idea. Our credit scores were good. This was the first time that this happened to us, so it's a fortunate situation to be in, right? So I had an idea that was a good solution for us. This is not financial advice, and this may be a terrible solution for you, but what I have done for myself is basically I just swapped the credit card loan for a personal loan because the interest was much lower. So we took the personal loan, paid back everything that was on a credit card, and started from scratch. And it took us 7 years to pay that money back to the bank. But obviously the interest was much lower, and this was like a predictable rate. And I took that card, I deleted it from everywhere, I put it away, and I said, I'm not using it. I'm not using it anymore because this is not working. And that day I decided that I will not spend money that I don't have anymore. If I don't have money for something, I'm not buying it. I'll wait until I have the money. I'll save up. Or I'll just wait until the next payday, and I will see if there's anything left for me to buy meaningless stuff that I do not need and I cannot afford. And that was a very hard decision, and it was followed by month and month and month of saying no to meaningless Amazon purchases, to canceling all of my subscriptions for beauty products that I never use, for reviewing all of our subscriptions and canceling stuff. And this has led us into the most abundant situation we've ever been in. Honestly, when I took this decision, when we put the spreadsheet together for the first time, when my kind of like scarcity mindset of like, oh my gosh, this is not going into the right direction. And then I got into the scarcity mindset of like, I can't afford anything, I'm not buying anything. I never would have believed that day if you told me you are going to be fine. I probably would not have believed you because I was afraid and I was worried. And I had very mixed emotions about how is this ever going to work out. But somehow we did it. It was a predictable payment. I know that I kind of knew that it will take me a long time, but it was a very comforting knowledge that one day I will wake up and the last payment is going to get out of my bank account, and then I can say that I am debt free. And this day arrived this year in May. And we celebrated it. We celebrated it because it took such a long time, but we did it. We are debt free. We did it. And now we are more abundant because I stick to this rule. I use my financial planner, my spreadsheet, to look at the whole year. I do two things. We do budgeting, but budgeting really is looking back, seeing how much did you spend last month and on what did you spend it. That's all well and good, but it's not enough. You need to know what are the basics that you need to spend money on, the things that are unavoidable. I call them a fixed expense. This is your mortgage, your car payments, your bills, and food. Pretty much none of these things are negotiable, either because obviously you need a home. You can't get out of your car deal, even if you can't afford it. Often you just can't get out of it because you're in contract. And also, what can you do without a car? I mean, you probably do need your car if you have it, right? At least one of it. Bills, not a good idea not to pay them. And food, obviously non-negotiable, right? You need food. So I like to call these like fixed expenses. Absolutely non-negotiable. You must pay them whatever happens. I have let that set. And then you have the fun stuff. You have your Netflix subscriptions, and some people pay for internet and stuff like that, although you may say that that's not negotiable if you work from home and things like that. But there are things that you can cancel on, but currently you pay for them, typically subscriptions, and maybe getting your nails done or going to the hairdressers, fun stuff. But things that are necessary, but you could cut them if need be. And then there's the true fun stuff, like travel extras, like traveling and going out, eating out, going to cinemas, taking the kids out, whatever it is, like really the kind of spend that is not necessary, but you choose to. Stuff for the house, or Black Friday budget, Christmas budget, all of those things that are just extra things that you choose to spend on. We have these different categories in our spreadsheet, and we look at what is like the necessities, the funds, and the extras. But we don't just look backwards, we also look forward. So we have a budgeting part of it, sure, but we also have a spending plan. And this is my favorite thing when it comes to financial planning. I wish everyone did a spending plan, because you know what your income is, you know what your fixed expenses is, you know how much you pay into your pension, your saving, your investments, let's say, if you have those things. And then there's the money left. Hopefully there's a pot that's like left. And then you get to decide what you choose to spend it on, instead of meaningless stuff that you don't need and sometimes can't afford. You see what is the money that you have, and then you decide what you want to spend it on. In our case, mostly this is travel. Yeah. But then we plan our trips for the whole year ahead. On the 1st of January, I know exactly what the money is going to be spent on the next year till the end of the year. I know how many trips we are going to have. I know where we are traveling. We have budget for birthdays, for special occasions like Mother's Day, Father's Day. We have a budget for unexpected expenses as well, because those always happen. So I kind of calculate that into the picture. And it's such a cool thing. You know what your annual income is, you know what your annual outgoings are, you know what's left, and then you get to decide what you do with it. That's the most fun thing to do. And then ideally, at the end of every month, you have an amount of money that is just staying in your account, and that is guilt-free spending. You can spend it on whatever you want to spend it, that is guilt-free. I can spend it on meaningless makeup products that I'm never going to use if I choose to. But that is just guilt-free spending money. No one is questioning, no one's judging, but that is actual money that exists. That's not going on a credit card. I'm not overspending on it. I'm not buying things that I can't afford. If I want something more expensive, I will again save up for it. And in the meantime, I'm building my savings account for emergencies, big emergencies, if those ever happen. And I'm building up my investment account as well, and I'm building up my pension. All of it at the same time. We're also building some saving funds for our children, all of them. They are always getting pocket money so that we can teach them on what you do with your money when you get it. You get £10, ideally 10% goes into your savings, 10% goes into your investments, and then ideally 50% of it should be enough for you to live. If you live below your means, then your fixed cost should be no more than 50% of your income, including cars and mortgages and bills and all of that. That's an ideal number, between 50 and 60%. And then, you add 10% for saving and investments, and that brings it up to either 70 or 80%, but you still have 20% left, which goes into your fun kind of budget of like, what do I want to spend this money on? Do I want to travel, or do I want to start a side business, or do I want to do something cool, get into a hobby, or do I want to just save it for the future? Whatever it is that you feel good about, that money is there and you can spend it in a way that makes you feel good about it. And you can plan ahead as well for like renovations, making the house nicer, or maybe paying off your mortgage a little bit quicker, whatever it is. Since we have been doing this, it's been absolutely life-changing. Me and my husband, we've read countless of money books and we watched webinars. I have been doing self-hypnosis about money beliefs. I have been doing different rituals, like all kinds of things, when it comes to money. Obviously, all of us, we want to have more of it and easier. And we want to be able to manage it better. I've learned about investments. I've learned about pension. I've learned about ISAs here in the UK. A lot of financial education needs to go into this because unfortunately, none of this are taught anything about this at school. None of us are to blame. It's not your fault how much debt you're in. It's not your fault how you've been treating your money up to this point, but it is your responsibility to do something about it. If this is something that doesn't feel good in your life, if I say the word money and you're like, ugh, that's not a good feeling. If you have that, then you really need to look into it and learn how to budget, how to build a spending plan, and then how to make room for savings, paying debt off, and investments. And bring it all together so that you can really see progress and move forward with your money. Also, a spending plan really gives you a great opportunity to figure out how can you afford what you dream about. I hear so many families, we haven't been on holiday for so long, we can't afford it. And I always wonder, but do you do something about it? Because when you write down your expenses and you realize that you have 5 different subscriptions for Disney Plus and Discovery and Netflix and Prime and blah, blah, blah. And if you cancel all of them and you don't watch anything, or you just watch YouTube, which is for free, and you cancel cable TV and you only keep the internet, maybe you would be able to save about 70 to 80 pounds a month. If you put that all together for a whole year, maybe you can pull off a small trip somewhere local. Maybe if you look into more subscriptions, maybe you could even create like an extra 1,500 pounds in a year, with which you could go on a holiday somewhere for a few days at least. It's all down to perspective. But when you see your numbers, even if you're afraid of them, I really strongly suggest that you look at your numbers, because it gives you the power of making choices. It helps you to take your power back. Money shouldn't control you. You should be in a position to control your money. You need to be in a position where you make the decisions. Don't ask money for permission. Look at your money and create ways in which you can give yourself permission. And you can be so creative with this stuff. So creative. It can be so much fun. It's very scary for the first time, but for the second and third and fourth, it becomes fun and quite enjoyable. And yes, sometimes the numbers are sad. Sometimes you're wondering, where does all the money go? But then you can see it. And then you can decide, do I want to spend on this? Do I want my money to go here? Or do I want it to go somewhere else? For example, we canceled cable TV 3 years ago. We never went back. I've never watched it. We only pay for internet. We don't have cable TV. I don't know how much we saved from it, but a lot. We only have Netflix. And even that, we don't watch it very often. Maybe once a week. Sometimes twice a week. But that's it. Just evaluate what do you have in your life that you don't use. You can sell stuff. You can go into your garage and take stuff down, put it on Facebook Marketplace or eBay, sell it online, or announce a garage sale. If you're in an area where that's a thing, then do a garage sale. Make some extra money. Be creative, be resourceful. But none of this is going to really help you unless you see your numbers. Also, if you have a dream holiday for 2025 and you really want to make that happen, I would challenge you to look up every single detail about it. Because if you don't know how much it costs and you don't know whether you can afford it or not, then it's just you may be just creating like bitterness for yourself for no good reason. Maybe the money's there somewhere. Maybe you can afford it. If you just dream about it but never look at how much it actually costs on an actual date that you could actually go, then how can you decide immediately that you're not available for this? You can't, and you shouldn't. You can't, and you shouldn't. That is the invitation for today, okay? I decided to give you a tool to do all of this. I am giving you my spreadsheet with instructions, and you can do all of this. You can look at your debt, you can look at your income, your expenses, and it helps you to create a spending plan. Gives you different categories. You can rename them if you want to, or you can use it as it is to start with. Everything I talked about is in that spreadsheet, and you can get it. There's 2 ways to get it, okay? The financial planner is not for free. You can either buy it with lifetime access for £11 as a one-off payment, and it's yours with instructions and everything else that it comes with. Or the second way to get it is to become an annual member of the Unbusy Circle membership inside my app. And once the 7-day free trial expires and your payment goes through, you will get immediate access to the spreadsheet and everything that comes with it. You will be able to see the instructions straight away after signing up throughout the trial period, but you won't be able to download the spreadsheet until the payment goes through, which is in 7 days. So those are the 2 ways to access the spreadsheet. If you would like the £11 version, you will be able to purchase that through the email that I will be sending out with the link that's in there. If you would like to sign up for the membership, all you need to do is to go down to the resources section, click on financial planning, and then the app will prompt you to upgrading your access. If you're upgrading to a monthly membership, that is not going to grant you access to this, okay? Only included in the annual membership. And as we go through the year, you are going to get more bonuses and more content that is going to help you to anchor in this mindset of like, how do you live by your values? How do you set healthy boundaries? How do you trust your intuition? How do you listen to your inner wisdom? How can you live in an unbusy way your most fulfilling life? So much content, meditations, activations, anchoring this feeling in, and you can stay with me. And you know that the Unbusy Year is actually followed by a program called Halftime, where exactly in the middle of the year, we're reflecting. We're looking back at the previous 6 months of like, right, so we started the year on our own terms. What happened? Where are we with everything? And then we are just resetting, recalibrating so that we can finish the year very, very strongly. I love that program. It comes with an activation as well. It's the halftime activation. It's amazing. So I'm very excited for you to either get it separately, just a spreadsheet for planning, or upgrade to an annual membership and come with me and do the whole journey. What is also going to help you with your financial planning is breaking the habit of overconsumption. So many people are struggling with this, and I can't blame anyone about it because all of the marketing emails are just kind of coming and coming and coming, and there's very little about conscious consumption, sustainability, and like stop buying things you don't need with the money you don't have. There's very, very little of that. It's all just like, you need this, it will make you happy, it will make you beautiful, it will make you young, it will make you this, it will make you that. And that is all driving us into overconsumption. So here's a little trick that I came up with. It's kind of my idea. I have not seen anyone doing this, but it's called a resource list. So one year, I got very annoyed because I was buying so many online courses or signing up for free things, getting free ebooks, buying books, on Amazon and everything. And I never had time to actually look into those resources. And that was annoying because I felt like I'm wasting money. I was spending on something and then I was never using it. And that did not feel right. So the solution, in my opinion, is a resource list. This is a list where you make a list keep it simple, on your phone, in your notes app. And you say, online courses. These are the resources that I have. Even meditation apps, the Unbusy app. If it's there, it's just a reminder, use it. Especially if you roll in on an annual membership. Of course, I'm going to remind you through emails and little notifications like, come meditate with me. But if it's on your own resource list and you do a quarterly planning and a monthly planning and you're like, I'm paying for the year for the Unbusy app, I want to use it. Remind me, resource list, to use it on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. It's very, very good to do it this way. I list all the books that I bought that I want to read. I list all of the different like workouts that I can do. At some point, I was having multiple workouts that I wanted to do. I also list things like my Shakti mat or my little massager thing that I can do when something aches somewhere so that I don't forget that it's there. I kind of list everything that I paid money for or I got for free that is right there and I can use it. Because the thing is, we do forget. Very often we forget. We buy something, it sits in our inbox. It's like a really cool thing, but you just did not have the time. You didn't make the time. You forget about it. Even things like, did this ever happen to you? That you bought too many Christmas cards and you saved them for the next year only to forget about them and buy too many Christmas cards again. And then somewhere in the middle of the year, it comes out of a drawer and you're like, oh, I wasted so much money. I had all the Christmas cards I needed. Look, and now I have even more in another place. How did this happen? Well, that happened because you forgot and you were not organized enough to be able to remind yourself that I bought too many Christmas cards last year. I need none this year. You're just like, oh, sure, I need it. And then you have too many. This happens with food all the time as well with some people. If your cupboard is disorganized, you may have 3 bottles of olive oil in there and 5 bottles of balsamic vinegar because you cannot see that somewhere in the back there's 2 more bottles. You just forgot about them and you can't see them. So you go and you buy yet another one instead of just using what you already have. A resource list is all about that. Use what you already have. It's a cool thing to do. It's sustainable. It's conscious. It's intentional. It helps the planet. It helps your budget. It helps you from every single perspective. Do it. Create a resource list and put the things there that you have and you wish not to forget the fact that you have it. This is also helping you to make very conscious decisions. Because when I know that I have something, I can decide, do I need another one of it or not? No. Or if I have something that's very similar, do I want another one before, like, do I want this book about money before I read this book about money that I already have? No, let's just read this one first and then we decide later. Never make a decision when you don't know. If you don't know, that just means you don't know. Don't let anyone drive you into making a decision quick when you don't know. Instead, just wait for clarity or wait until you find out, and then you can make an informed decision that is going to be a much better decision than an impulse buy. Whenever you make a decision of yes and no, it's kind of both. When someone is asking you this simple question, do you want to go out on Saturday night? If you say yes, then you are saying yes to going out, having a drink, meeting your friends, socializing, having fun. But at the same time, you're saying no to rest, to an early evening, to all the things that come with just staying at home in your pajamas versus going out, drinking alcohol, or, whatever else that it involves a night out for you. At the same time, you're saying yes to this, but no to this other realm of things that you could be doing. And I don't think when we are making decisions, we are leveraging this. Sometimes you say yes to people please someone and you say no to yourself, and that's the worst kind of decision that you can be making. Sometimes you say yes to going out because you think that they are going to think that they're not important for you anymore. Is that the right reason why you should be saying yes. I don't think so. I don't think so. So many times we say yes to something because we are afraid of what the other person is going to think about us, and therefore we are not living by our values. We are saying no to ourselves just to please someone who may not even be pleased by the action we just took. It's so funny, it's so twisted. We do this all the time. I want you to really take your power back from circumstances. Set your boundaries based on your values. And if you're not clear on your values and on your boundaries, then I would love for you to take my self-acceptance program, because it is just that. It's teaching you about how to figure out your values, how to create your boundaries, and how to find who you really are and love who you really are. And when you learn to see this, to do this, to see the relationship of the yes and no, the power of your choice, the power that you have inside you, then you choose your own reality. And you choose it with intention, consciously, because you know that it's going to make you feel good. Because it's for you, it's not for someone else. You can only people please so much, because your batteries are going to be drained and more drained and more drained, and it's not necessary to live this way. You're not doing yourself any kind of favor. It's the truth. You're not. When you learn to see the yes and no, like I'm saying yes to myself. I'm saying yes to relaxing, to sitting in a bubble bath, to resting, to more sleep. And I'm saying no to cleaning out the kitchen. The dishes can wait. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I'm going to be so grumpy the next day. My children are going to suffer if I don't go to bed right now. The kitchen can wait. I'm saying yes to rest. I'm saying no to the kitchen. Does that make me a failure? Does that make me a lazy person? Does that put a stamp on me that from now on your kitchen is always a mess? No, it does not. No, it does not. You just accept the fact that today I'm too tired and I am going to prioritize my rest, because that's nice. You're choosing yourself. You're choosing your reality. You're making your own decisions based on what serves you, rather than leaning into other people's agenda, rather than following others people's wishes and wills all the time. You're a whole human being. You can do this. You can really do this. Actually, because I covered this, I really want to throw in a bonus. So here's the thing. If you upgrade to an annual membership until the 5th of January, I am going to give you the self-acceptance program for free, included. So that is worth £111. If you upgrade into the annual membership, which is £88 at the moment, plus tax, depending on where in the world you live, the App Store is going to add tax, but it's £88. If you upgrade until the 5th of January, I am going to give you the self-acceptance program for free. It's going to work the same way. After your 7-day free trial, when you actually become an annual member and the payment goes through, you're going to get access to the financial planner and to the self-acceptance bundle. And that is going to skyrocket you into the best new year yet. That's so exciting. Okay. Thank you so much for watching this video. I appreciate you as always. And I cannot wait to see you tomorrow for day 2, when we are going to talk about the Be-Do balance.